Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you guys so much for sticking by. We continue with MAGFest 2022. Up next, we got Risch on stage as he's going to be doing a speed run. Any solo Shinobi with Dragon marked for death.
Yes, thank you very much. So, hello, I'm Risch. I will be playing this lovely game by Inti Creates, the creators of Mega Man Zero games. If you see any similarities, that is probably why. This is a neat sort of quest based platforming RPG with 6 different characters in it, such as the Shinobi, who I will be playing today. They are the fastest character with the most mobility options, but there are different characters that have different play styles. Some are more support oriented, some more focused on damage and whatnot. So this is a co-op game for the most part, but in today's run we will just be playing the game solo. Though if you do want to play this game, I highly encourage you to play it in a co-op fashion. So with that, I believe I am ready to get started. I don't think there's any donation incentives involved with this game. So am I good to give a countdown for the timer? Are you guys good backstage? All right, cool. With that, we can begin on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Contract approved. So first thing, we'll kind of talk about the mechanics of the Shinobi class, which I'll be playing today. As I said, Shinobi is the fastest character. They have the most mobility options. First off, starting off with the dash that consumes dragon points. That is the blue bar under my health in the top left corner. So I'll be trying to make use of that. It slowly regenerates up to 2 bars over time. The dash currently consumes about half of a bar. And so I will be trying to dash pretty much as I possibly can with my limited dragon points. On top of that, the Shinobi also has the ability to double jump. The only character in the game that can do so, and is the only character with the ability to wall cling and therefore to wall jump. So we're going to be abusing all of these factors in order to make quick work of each of the stages. This is currently the tutorial stage, so you see these dialogue boxes showing up in the bottom, kind of explaining what you're supposed to do. For the most part, we'll be following along because we have no other option. I mentioned that this is a quest-based RPG, so what I mean by that is there are different quests in this game, which we'll see a menu for them later. This is technically the tutorial quest. And so you basically have to do a bunch of different quests in order to be able to progress the story and unlock more quests, which will in turn be able to unlock future quests as well. So that little blue light there is usually a bar indicating that a gauntlet fight will happen or some type of boss fight like this. So the Shinobi's combat mechanics are pretty interesting. When you hit an enemy with a dash, you will lock on, and then you can just attack from literally anywhere. At the end of a combo, you have different options, such as the dragon kick, which is where you hold down at the end of your combo and you press the attack button. That's a quick sort of burst attack. There is a larger one, which is the one I just did, which is a dragon meteor kick. That one does a lot more damage, has a bit more charge up time, and these dragon kicks are based on your piety stat, so that's why I'll be throwing a lot of my stat points into piety throughout the run. Right now, this is just some text that we have to advance through. Luckily, in a very early patch of the game, they made it so that you can press the start button to auto-advance through text, so no need for any crazy mashing. So, the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to, before going on a quest, we're going to set up a few item shortcuts at the end. What this means is you basically assign quick commands so that I can use this quality holy water. We want to be able to say candies as well as green fruit, I believe, yes. And that should be good. Maybe we'll just add... Oh, I actually want red fruit. So, those are items that we're going to be using throughout the run, and assigning that will make it a lot quicker. I'll be able to do the menuing sort of in the middle of actually fighting something, rather than having to... how do I menu? There we go. It'll let me basically use those items in the middle of a fight without having to waste time actually menuing each and every time. So, this is the first quest that we have to go on, and basically the route that we have to do is there are 8 quests in particular that we have to do that have these literal flags associated with them. What that means is when you do a side objective, such as that one, I just got a pendant, turned into this old lady, we hear a little jingle, that indicates that we received a flag. Basically, it's kind of like progressing the story a little bit, and there are 8 quests with these different flags that we need in order to be able to unlock the second to last quest of the game, which is needed to unlock the final quest. So we have to basically do all of the quests necessary to unlock or to acquire the flags and get the quests to unlock that have those flags. So right now this first mission obviously unlocks like 3 new quests, I believe each of which we will be doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we just get to run through the stage. Every time we get enough dragon points, we will try to throw out an extra dash. I didn't talk too much about how dragon points generate. They do passively generate up to 2 bars, as I said, but as you hit an enemy with an attack, you will also generate dragon points. It's not typically worth it to do that when you could just be running through the stage, but it is important because the dragon meteor and dragon kicks that I will be doing in fights do also consume dragon points. So, with all of that said, on boss fights, you'll be seeing me do some combos in order to generate dragon points. When I do not hold a direction on the D-pad while I'm doing a combo, at the end of it, it will do a kick that does not a whole lot of damage, but it'll generate a lot more dragon points. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're actually going to quickly menu, just to use this rainbow candy that we grabbed during the tutorial. We're going to do a combo to generate the dragon points, then hold up, do another combo that will generate, or not generate, but do a meteor kick. We're just going to rinse and repeat this for now until he is dead. Piety-based attacks typically have a roll associated with them. What that means is it randomly can, in my case actually, poison as well, because I'm currently poison element. But it has a damage roll associated with it. Basically, it does some checks with your piety stat versus the enemy's piety stat, and determines if it's going to be full damage, half damage, sometimes even a quarter damage. So sometimes you'll get really unlucky with those rolls and things just won't die. Anyway, next up, we'll be doing the second quest, which unlocked from doing Ogre Fort, Dreaming of Treasure. This particular quest does not have a flag associated with it, but it's necessary to unlock future missions that do have flags associated with them. So, first things first, we have to go all the way over to the left side of this particular area. This actually is one of the neat things about Dragon Mark for Death. Excuse me. Is it likes to reuse some of the same maps, or at least same general map designs, but it has different quests associated with them with different objectives overall. So, basically just have to go over here, all the way to the left, kill this guy. He has a key, which will be needed to open the way to the end of the quest later on. That is the one thing that I am particularly bad at, is forgetting. I oftentimes forget where enemies are, and I'll just kind of dash into them. And that will lose you time, because while you're in that like sort of somersault animation after hitting an enemy, you can't continue moving forward, so it loses you a bunch of time. Alright. Now, this is actually the exact, like I said, the exact same area that we were just in. So again, gonna have to run to the end, but this time there will be a different boss at the end of this stage that we'll have to deal with. As I said before, this game is much more enjoyable, at least casually speaking, when you play this game co-op. And speedrun-wise, you can also play this game co-op. Unfortunately, my main co-op runner could not make it to this event, hence why I'm doing the run solo. But you could theoretically split up the responsibilities and have someone go to the left immediately and have the other person go to the right, because hitting that blue door will actually summon all others to the area that you just went to. This is the Mandrake enemy. He's particularly annoying because that bulb on top of his head oftentimes blocks attacks, hence why I just barely was not able to get the enough damage to one cycle in. It ended up blocking the Dragon Meteor for the most part, so I didn't do nearly as much damage to him as I should have. So, one of the other kind of weird mechanics of this game is that there is points in the run where you will be completely blind. aka if I zoom out all the way, we literally can't see anything except where there's light. But if you zoom in, you can actually start to see a bit more of your surroundings because you're more nearsighted. This is kind of useful a little bit here and there. It doesn't really impact the run too much. I just try and zoom out at the start of every quest. Right there, I was still zoomed in, so I just had to zoom back out. We're actually going to do this quest. Oh, right. Supposed to go and grab this quest over here. There are actually a couple quests that NPCs in this sort of hub overworld will give you, and there's actually two in particular that we need to actually do in order to unlock future quests. So we just set up a shortcut to that black market so we can teleport to it later, and then this lady gives us a quest. So we're gonna go back to the bar via the shortcut, and now we can do this quest called Polluted Water. Again, this quest is necessary not for a flag, but to unlock future quests. This one is kind of boring, I will say. We basically have to just clean some water by bringing these berries to 3 different pools. So this first one, we have to carry this berry by hitting it constantly over and over and over up this hill. Does have, you know, gravity mechanics. It will roll back down the hill if you're not careful. So need to get it up the hill, just up here, roll into the polluted water, and now we have 2 more remaining. Luckily, we don't have to drag the berries. We don't have to go back to that first set of berries. The next 2 ponds have berries right next to them, so now we just get to run along. We just hit that one out, right into the pool of water, and then we have to go to the final one, where there happens to actually be a monster that will eat the berries and keep the water polluted, so we have to deal with that monster first. Nope. Not quite there. I always forget how long this stage is. This is actually not this. This looks very similar to the area we were in Ogre Fort and Polluted Water, or not Polluted Water, Dreaming of Treasure, but it's actually slightly different. So that's one of the unique things about this game. They kind of take the same area, reuse them for their own, you know, benefit for different quests. So that one is now complete. And move forward. See what my notes say to do after Polluted Water. Alright, so we're actually supposed to not go into... Whoops. Supposed to quick travel back to the black market. So, we will need to go to the black market for some shopping later on. But right now we're actually just using it to go back and talk to this lady who will give us a Dragonite for completing her quest. A Dragonite has a couple different uses. The main one we're going to be using to re-roll our contract. Every character starts off with a contract, which basically will define your element and some of the sort of numbers associated with your characters, such as how much damage you deal with different attacks, some of the different mechanics of your class. For example, right now, let me just quickly buy that. How many do I buy? It is 1 red. We buy 18 green, and then we want to buy fur anklets, which are actually going to speed us up. They're going to increase our movement speed, so we're going to even be going even faster. And then we're going to go use this Dragonite to reroll our contract. So right now, as a Shinobi, I only have 1 extra double jump, but when I switch to fire contract, I'm actually now going to have 2 jumps in the air, so I can actually jump 3 times. There are some other mechanics that change with Fire Shinobi. My dash is now much longer, but it costs significantly more dragon points. Have anything? Now we're going to equip some of these items to utilize on this next quest. So yes, the dash is now twice as long, but costs twice as much dragon points. We can only do 1 of them in the air, so if we dash upright, for example, we can't do another dash. So it is a little bit limiting with our mobility, but we also have 2 double jumps in the air, like that. So the reason that we're doing the fire contract is because it deals more damage, simply put. We are already fast enough that we don't need to worry about speed too much. It's also comparable anyway to the different contracts in terms of speed. And the main thing is we need to be able to deal more damage to bosses, and Fire Shinobi happens to have the greatest scaling. So, on this particular quest, we need to travel up this here mountain with avalanches coming down constantly. I'm actually going to double jump over this one because I want to save dragon points to dash up. That is a shortcut that not every character can take, because now we don't have to go like through some cave system. We can actually just go over the top of the map. Now we're going to just double jump across. Again, this is a shortcut pretty much only Shinobi, maybe like 1 other character can do. That is like one of the that's like one of the big things is Shinobi's movement just enables them to do a lot of these shortcuts that other characters have no chance of being able to do. So we're gonna step on that, which is going to blow everything up. Then we're gonna go into a quick boss fight with this Jerk Knight, as my friend lovingly calls him. He's a particularly annoying boss. When he puts up his shield, he blocks pretty much everything. Ow, that hurt. It's okay. We're not actually dead. There we go. Basically, there's a green bar at the bottom of the screen that basically indicates how much experience I'm going to get at the end of the mission. There we go. When he puts his shield up, he just literally blocks like so many ranged attacks that it becomes really annoying to deal with. So, I got an extra Dragonite. That doesn't help us at all. One of the other downsides of Fire Shinobi is that my attacks, like the Meteor Kick, cost more Dragon Points as well. So we have to spend a bit more time generating them, but the whole point is so that we can deal more damage anyway. There are status effects in this game, such as the Frost one that I just got. That one will slow my character to a halt. Oh, that's really good. Every enemy has a chance to drop these random items, such as the silver piece. There are also copper pieces that I like. There are enhancement cubes and enhancement orbs that are used to upgrade your gear. Those will be important later on as well. there are also some food items that can restore your health or give you a status boost. There. So this is an example of a gauntlet where we have to deal with a bunch of enemies in a row in order to clear it. Right now, I still don't do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately, so this does take a lot of time. And usually my damage is all burst, hence why this is taking quite a bit of time. There. And that is the quest done. There we go. So, throughout this run, there are different drops from bosses that I am looking out for because they will make the run easier. For example, there are weapons that are upgraded versions of themselves. For example, you might have noticed that I have a weapon called Hairpin Plus 1. That is basically the upgraded version of the hairpin item, hairpin weapon, and it just gives increased stats and has just better stats overall on it, deals more damage. So we want to be getting those upgraded items pretty much for free sometimes because they drop from bosses. Otherwise, we're going to have to do upgrades in order to maintain the same level of strength that we expect, which can lose you a bit of time, but it is way more consistent to do it, and will save you time if you just get unlucky. So this is the great vertical mobility of the Shinobi. We can just kind of wall jump up these areas and skip over large portions of the map. There are these poison fields. There is a hint that you're supposed to look at that will tell you which one is actually poisoned and which one is fake poisoned. They're not actually always poisoned. There's a hint. It involves zooming in your camera so you can actually see the hint, but most of the time, because we're Shinobi, we can avoid that anyway via damage boosting, so it's not nearly as important to worry about with this character. So, we killed that enemy. He drops a key right here for us, so we can progress to the next stage of this mission called Tomb Rescue. Basically, 4 people are trapped in this tomb, and we're going to go all the way to the bottom first. We have to look on the right side first. We notice that one of the hostages is on the right side. We'll come back to you because that just means that one of them is also on the left side. So, we have to talk to them to save them. We could theoretically let them die. There is no downside to doing that. However, it takes a long time for them to die. Also managed to get a double hit on them. Nice. So, the dragon kick managed to hit the enemy I was locked onto, but also hit the enemy just above me because my kick went through the ceiling. So it is just faster to kill these things, save everyone, and as a result, we actually get 1,000 extra gold, specifically because we did save everyone. If we didn't get that, we would not get all of the reward here. So, I believe I have to do a quick shopping trip because I haven't gotten a good enough weapon just yet. We're going to go to the weapons store, and we're going to be upgrading our weapon called the Shuriken. We're just going to buy 6 of them. Upgrade Shuriken. And what this does is it will upgrade it to +1, which will give us more strength. That'll help us deal more damage to enemies. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of weapons that give us the piety stat, but our normal attacks are based off of strength. So the extra strength will help us. Ooh, I shouldn't be upgrading that one. There we go. So now we have a Shuriken +2, and we can finally upgrade it to Shuriken +3. which will give us a nice bit of extra stats. It'll help our shuriken actually deal more damage compared to our kunai. Shinobi is one of the weird classes that actually has 2 different weapons and uses them at different points. So, next up, don't recall what we're doing. We're going to go to Sea of Tumult. We're going to equip that shuriken plus 3 we just used, and we're good on items for now. So. This is a quest where we have to first save these people who are on a boat. They're currently under attack from a monster. Before we, deal with the monsters right now, we're gonna save this guy who just kind of trapped himself down here. That's important because this particular quest has a flag associated with that guy. If we can't talk to him at the middle part of this quest, we cannot unlock the flag. So, we need to save him just so that we can talk to him later on. Alright, I missed my dash. That is one of the other downsides of this version of Shinobi, is the dash is so much longer that it's more of a commitment. If you mess it up, you are not going to have fun. Those enhance cubes that I'm getting, they allow you to upgrade your weapon. I was using the actual weapon to upgrade itself, but you can also use these enhance cubes as well. I'm saving the enhance cubes for a later upgrade. So, this is Cthulhu, a boss that we have to now deal with. This is the monster that is causing problems for this ship. So, there are basically 4 tentacles that we have to deal with. We're going to have to meteor kick each and every one in order to actually destroy them. The middle 2 tentacles will have an attack that, if it hits you, confuses you. Basically throws sand in your eye. The right and leftmost will summon tidal waves at you instead. But this is something called a dragon orb. I could grab it, but it's slow. It's a really long animation. It also makes you invulnerable to special effects, or status effects, excuse me. Here we go. We gotta talk to this guy. That's the key, or the flag that we needed. So, but yeah. So that dragon orb can be useful depending on if you're struggling in a fight. But for the most part, in a speedrun, we just want to go fast, and it doesn't really benefit us too much to use it. Just a really long animation, does slight damage at the end of it, and gives us infinite dragon points actually, which can be really nice. But it's not super useful. Double jump. God. Just trying to float over everything. Wall clinging will refresh your jumps in the air, so sometimes just running into a wall in order to be able to actually jump again is very useful. So right now, for the record, we are inside the beast. We are inside the belly, I should say, of Cthulhu, because there's some treasure that Cthulhu ate up that we need to go and acquire for our good sailor friends. There we go. Another turtle. Ooh, oh, didn't have enough dragon points to even dash at him. There we go. So, that is the quest. We picked this up because it has a chance to be a good item, and that's the treasure that our friends are looking for. And quest is complete. It is an okay weapon. Not super useful, though, for the speedrun. So, what next? We still have to do aim for high heaven. I think I'm good on items. Yeah, we're good enough. So, we're gonna do this first. This is a particularly long quest. It's going to be a lot of vertical movement as we try and go up this tower in order to reach an elevator, but the elevator is always turned off. We need to find 2 power sources, which are always in the exact same location every time. So we just need to go grab the two chests on each floor in order to be able to progress to the next floor. The objective of this quest is to help the balloon that we saw at the beginning reach the top of the tower. I don't know why we want it to reach the top, but it is what it is. Oh, actually, I want to be up here. And I messed up because I'm supposed to go grab the power source over here. I was thinking too much of the balloon. The balloon has 2 possible spawn locations on each floor. So basically, I looked at the first one, saw it wasn't there, so I now know exactly where the balloon is. It's right here. And now we've gotten the power sources for the elevator, so we can take it up to the next floor. We have to do this twice more. The balloon once again gets stuck on the next floor. So this one, unfortunately, we have to go a little bit out of our way to find at first. I'm actually looking to hope it spawns in the first area because the second one is really out of your way. And not there. So we have to go to the second location, unfortunately. So, because I'm a Shinobi, I can just kind of go really high up. I shouldn't have done that way. I should have done this first. And now, over here is where the balloons. So, now we have to go and get the 2 power sources. One is down here. And the second one over on the other side. See, you can't use the elevator just yet. Go and get this power source over. This first chest is actually a mimic. What that means, some chests are by default a mimic, just like that one. Sometimes chests containing treasure can randomly turn into a mimic that you have to defeat before you can actually get the item. But there are a few set locations where a mimic will always spawn, and you gotta be real careful. They can do a lot of damage. So, first things first, we're gonna go up here. This is the first power source. And then go over here, second power source, grab it. The balloon is actually always in this upper area right here. It's just up there, or it's there. Oh. Now we can go to the final stage, which this is actually just a boss fight. This is one of the few stages where, regardless of like how many people you're playing with, you will have, like, everyone does have to reach the end. So other characters, if you're playing co-op, will, if they're slower, be required to make it to the elevator. So that's usually what they focus on, and say like a Shinobi would just focus on grabbing each of the different things that you're looking for. This can be a really good weapon if I check that chest. Extra money is not hurtful either. Alright. So that is that quest done, which unlocks a couple more missions for us. Next, though, we're going to do, I believe, Undying Dragon. So let me re-equip some items. So we're running a bit low. We actually need 2 green candies because there are 2 different bosses in this quest. But this quest starts off with a really dull part. It's literally an escort mission. So first we have to save this guy here. There are a bunch of enemies that are just going to be in our way. Because of how slow this escort mission ends up being, we end up killing a lot of things in this in this quest. And for that reason, this is actually one of the best quests to try and get all of the currencies that we need to be able to unlock some later items. Luckily, with this escort mission, is our friend Eterno, is his name, is able to move completely on his own, so we don't need to babysit him. But he has a problem with elevators, so we have to lower them down for him, pick them back up. Fun little fact, the speed at which the elevator lowers is based on the character's weight, and Shinobi happens to be the lightest character. So Shinobi actually has the worst time with these elevators. There's some fancy stuff you can do to make the elevators much quicker in, say, co-op, but we don't have such a luxury here today. So, see, he takes damage like a champion. Alright. Now, the unfortunate thing is, if an enemy ends up in his way, he will hesitate, so you do have to clear enemies out. But at this point, we no longer have to deal with any, any more elevators. He will go to his final destination on his own. And now we just have to clear the path for him so that he will not get spooked by any enemies. And that's the last enemy that could get in his way. So now we can actually just spend our time killing a couple extra enemies. This gets us a little bit more experience, and sometimes these currencies, like the copper pieces, that will be very useful for some shopping trips later, and enhanced cubes to help with the enhancements. So, gotta talk to him twice actually. This particular quest is a flag, so that is the, I believe, third, maybe fourth flag we picked up. We just have to talk to him twice. That is the flag. It's just basically more exposition. So we have to do this gauntlet in order to get a key to unlock the chest, or the door that's up above. The whole reason we have to do this is because now we have to deal with these twin dragons that are currently on the right and left sides of the map. Use this opportunity to talk about the different types of enemies. There are 3 types of enemies in this game. There are diva enemies, there are primal enemies, and there are I forget the last one, Asura enemies. There we go. These different types of enemies have different types of weaknesses. I mentioned piety-based attacks, such as my Dragon Meteor. They will deal twice as much damage to a diva enemy, but they will deal half damage, actually 2/3 damage, to Asura enemies, such as this dragon. So, we're kind of just stuck dealing with that for now. And he went under, unfortunate. So, really difficult to one-cycle these guys because of the fact that they literally take 2/3 damage from our strongest attack. So now we have to go all the way to the left side, which usually would actually involve a trip through the bottom area, because most characters don't have the ability to wall jump. There's an extra gauntlet you have to do down there in order to get a key, but Shinobi can just go back the top path and just be on our merry way. Now we gotta fall down, and this is where we're at. Didn't get my jump scare. These guys are also particularly difficult to hit with a meteor kick, so that's why I'm not going for them. Usually results in just getting hit out of it or some weird shenanigans where it just completely misses. So I'm just doing normal dragon kicks. Back below threshold, and now I think we have a good opportunity to actually use the meteor kick. Oh, he landed on his icicle, ice pillars. Go. Shuriken. I don't remember if that's good or not. Nope, not good. So, we're actually going to now go on a bit of a shopping trip to the black market. Trying to use some of those different currencies we've been getting throughout the run. We want 1 red fruit. We're gonna need more Pagnus coins, so let's see if we can exchange that. We cannot. That is really unfortunate. Gotten really unlucky with Pagnus coins, so we're only gonna be able to buy 1 more green fruit. Yeah, that's particularly bad. We're also going to buy scale bangles. These have really good stats. So,
do you have time for a donation?
Absolutely, always.
Okay. Joe King, of course, donated $10. We do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. That brings our total to 1,430. Thank you guys so very much. We do appreciate it. And as always, exclamation donate in the chat for all the details. Back to you, Rich.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, make sure to get those donations in. Got a lot of incentives for some of the later runs, so make sure to keep an eye out for those. Regarding the current quest we're on, this is another one in the tomb map. This time, we actually are going sort of treasure hunting. We have a key in order to be able to unlock a chest at the end, but we need to figure out exactly which one we're supposed to open, which is going to involve using that little zoom-in mechanic I was talking about earlier to see the hint as to exactly what chest I'm supposed to open. So, coming right down here, pretty much the exact same as the last area, except there are different enemies in different positions. Tends to be the case whenever they reuse a map for different quests. So, go over to this left little area over here above the tombs. We zoom in. We notice that there's 1 eyeball, which is on the 2nd row on the right side, which indicates to us that we need to get this chest in particular. That is the one that will progress us to the final stage of this quest. If we don't get the right one, he asks us to go back, and it takes a really long time. So it's really important that you get the right one. Hence why you need to actually double check that that hint. So this is just a gauntlet that we're doing. It's actually not required for the quest, but it is required for a flag. Basically, at the end of this, there will be a little switch right here that we just want to step on. And that will break some blocks earlier in the stage that we're going to now go back up to. So this is typically optional, but because of the fact that we want to unlock the final 2 quests, it's not actually an optional boss fight with Vasith. Perhaps, not at this point, but perhaps one of the hardest boss fights in the game. He just does a lot of damage. He has some giant attacks. Luckily, the Shinobi dash is also kind of broken. It often will just go through things. It gives you iframes for a period of time. So, oh, that was so unfortunate. I got a low roll that ended up with me inside of him, so I took damage. And I got one shot. Nice. Alright, there we go. So, you can see the bar on the bottom is now half full. In solo mode, you have basically 4 deaths before you will fail a quest. And each time you do it, divides the amount, or basically subtracts 1/4 of the experience you would normally get for the quest from your total at the end. So, we will be getting less experience, but it's significantly better than just, you know, not completing the quest. Now we have this guy. This guy is a diva enemy, which means he takes double damage from our piety-based attacks. So our meteor kick is going to do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, summoned a tornado in the way, so I'm going to use the other type of dragon kicks. Fun little fact, we also have the shuriken attack, which can also home when we are locked on like that. And when it is the homing shuriken, it also does piety-based damage, so it's usually a decent way to finish off enemies. So, that is one more flag acquired. Now enter the upper city. Lovely. So, next up, I believe we want to go to pillar maintenance. We have no items. We're going to equip all the quality holy waters, and we're going to equip green fruit and this red fruit. We don't need the candies anymore. We only need them to convert them into fruit. So unfortunately, we're not going to have too many opportunities to get more of those Pagnus coins in order to be able to get more fruit. The fruit is very strong. The reason it's so strong is because the way that the items work in this game. The green candy, for example, gives you a small percentage increase for a short period of time of the stat that you're on. So green candy, for example, will slightly increase your piety for, say, 30 seconds. Or maybe like 50. It's closer to 30. Meanwhile, a green fruit gives you a flat increase of the stat. So it's just a number. It's not a percentage, which is really bad. Percentages when we are really early in the game and don't have a whole lot of a particular stat. So that's why we want the fruit, is because it will basically almost more than double our piety when we use it, which means that our meteor kicks are going to do tons of damage. Now, for this particular quest, it doesn't make a huge difference because there is not, it's not even a boss at the end of this particular quest. It's just a quest to get to the top, and then we have a little bit of like a sort of gathering quest up there. This guy is actually a forced mimic, so I'm being really careful around him. Like I said, the power sources for the elevator are always in the exact same spots every time, even if it is a different quest. So. Alright, so now we're on the final floor of this particular map. And so what we have to do is go up here to where some guy who actually was talking to us at the beginning of the quest waiting for us. We actually don't have to talk to him just yet. I shouldn't have gone that way. We want to go up here, and we want to get these crystals or elements. There are 4 of them, and we need to acquire all 4 of them. So they're in all 4 corners of this little map. And once we've acquired the 4th one, we can talk to him. He tells me that's what we need to get. We just talk to him again to give it back to him, and the quest is done with that. So now I have one final shopping trip to do. It's a quick upgrade in order to get a good weapon, so that we can actually, do decent amounts of damage. So I'm gonna go to the weapon shop. Going to buy Fury. Don't know how many I need. So we're just gonna start upgrading it. We're gonna try and use all of these cubes that we have. Hopefully we have it. Doesn't look like we're gonna have enough, probably, but we'll see. Curry +1 now. Oh, we have plenty. I forgot. We're only going to Curry +2. The Curry +3 is too expensive. We would never be able to afford it until it's way too late in the run to make enough of a difference. So that's why we just do this now. I'm going to use this opportunity to also go back to the black market and try to buy some more of those fruits. I know I can at least afford one more. Yeah. So I'm going to hold on to the fruits, unfortunately, and because of that, I'm going to go to the general store. I'm going to buy a couple more candies. Because the fruit lasts long enough that you can just kind of... You use one for an entire quest, and that's literally all you need to do. So we actually need more candies if we're going to be using the same amount overall. So our next quest, I should say, is going to be... First, let's look at that. Truth in Heaven, which is, again, going to be this rather annoying elevator stage, but it is the last one we will be doing throughout the run. It starts off with a fight with this jerk knight yet again. So, we're going to use a candy at the start. And he's dead. Very nice. Well timed with that that meteor kick, just as his shield went down. Now we can move on with the rest of the stage. It's going to be very similar to the first time we were here. Just 3 floors that we have to make it up, and then another boss fight at the end of that. So, nothing really too crazy going on. If there are any more donations, now would be a good time to read them. Again, this is a good opportunity to say that, please, if you can, we would love any amount of support you guys can provide if you want to donate to a good cause. We're getting close, I believe, to the $1,500 mark. It'd be very exciting, so I don't know if there are any more donations to read. Ow. I will take silence as a no. So that's a little fun fact about the elevator is, while that entire time I was being poisoned. Poison is actually an effect that lasts for a set amount of time. Basically, it ticks a certain number of times. And during the elevator, you actually can't take damage. So even though I was poisoned, I was just kind of wasting the duration, funnily enough.
Got time for a donation?
Absolutely.
Okay, we got a $25 donation from Meta Roller, who says, guess Rich was on Dragon Satellite the whole time. Thank you, Meta Roller, and thank you to everyone who's donated so far. Appreciate it.
Super appreciate it, Meta. I'm more of a lion kind of guy, not a dragon, so sorry, bud. But See where you're coming from. Now I'm gonna die. Just kidding. That is one of the neat things you can do with this game is if you have a status effect such as poison, which will just slowly but surely kill you, you can get a different status effect, and it will override. You only can have one status effect at a time, so getting hit and having the fire side effect basically gets rid of the poison completely. Now, that being said, fire is a particularly annoying one because it means that you will be taking more damage. So you have to be really careful with the fire debuff, but it also doesn't last nearly as long. So the reason that we have to do this particular quest is because we have to go up here for some more exposition. This is a flag. And that's literally it. It's the whole reason we need to do this quest. But we do have to complete the quest, so go on over, grab the last elevator code. And away we go to the boss. So, this is a very grueling cutscene. Poor guy. Does not deserve this. Absolutely brutal. But this particular boss happens to be a diva enemy. And a little fun fact about it, these spheres, while it doesn't cause her to take damage, are enemies that I can get dragon points off of. And therefore we can just kind of just one-shot her. Also accidentally used a green fruit. I didn't mean to, but whatever. Not a huge deal. Alright, so that is that quest line out of the way. We no longer have to go to that really long elevator map once again. Instead now, let me just double check. 6. Yep, this is the right amount. So we're going to equip some more healing items, more candies, and we're going on to these 2 more quests back to back are going to have flags in each of them, and they're going to clear up the last few flags that we need to unlock the final 2. So this particular map, we first want to. That was kind of a shortcut that only Shinobi can take as well. Tends to be a common theme with most of these maps, is Shinobi only shortcuts. There are a few shortcuts that some of the other characters can do as well, such as the Empress has some exclusive ones, and the Warrior also has some exclusive ones, but they're not very common like Shinobi. Shinobi just kind of breaks the game in terms of movement. So this is an optional boss that we have to deal with, but he is the flag. So that is why we are fighting. We don't need to worry about items anymore, so we're not going to grab the chest here. Instead, we're just going to move on with our lives. And now we're going to begin the second and luckily final Escort mission. This one is particularly more annoying than the last because, as I mentioned, Turno, our old friend, could, take care of himself. He didn't really need a whole lot of babysitting, but next Escort is going to need some babysitting, unfortunately. Oh, here's me. So, this is Princess Mia. Gotta talk to her. And if you go off screen from her, she will stop moving and wait for you to come back. So we have to stay on screen with her the whole time and just clear out enemies as we go. And it's a really, really long journey. I don't know if there are any more donations to read. Now would be a good time.
Yes, we actually got one just now. TJ09 has donated $14. And he says, "Happy birthday, bro," which brings the total up to $1,469. Nice. Thank you guys so much.
One little thing you can do here as an optimization is you can actually jump to make her decide that she needs to jump as well rather than fall twice. But thank you. Very nice, TJ, for the donation. Oh, alright. You can go slightly off screen, but you can't go too far. So, that is pretty much the rest of this quest. It's just dealing with these enemies as they appear, and trying not to get too far from her. There's also these spikes that show up and block her path that we're going to have to break as she gets close enough. And this enemy's going to spawn. Should probably heal just to be a little safe. I bought all of these healing items. I might as well make use of them. Oh no, I want that so that I can recover from the ice side effects, which just makes us move really slowly. Alright. We're getting to the home stretch of this area. Yeah. Keep getting frozen, which I'm still faster than Princess Mia. There was a patch, actually, that buffed her speed. She was much slower before, and it was very, very annoying doing this quest. Also, unfortunately, her pathing, she likes to jump if you are above her, and there's a platform she can jump to, so gotta be kind of careful with that. They also, in that same patch that they buffed Princess Mia's speed, they also fixed this thing. There was a little gap here, and it was really hard to get her to jump up here. She kept falling all the time. So now we're here at the boss. These ogres, by the way, are actually also Asuras. They're from the same clan as the main character, so they're also dragon blood. Which means that they also take 2/3 damage from my meteor attacks. So if I stand back here, I'm oftentimes safe. I'll only take contact damage every now and then. So usually the safest place to be is just behind him, even if it is kind of small. Don't need that weapon anymore, so there we go. So we now have 7 out of 8 flags. We have 1 more to go, and this quest unlocked. Final quest that will have the 8th flag for us. So getting relatively close to the end here. So this is the quest that I like the red fruit for, Calamity's Portent. The red fruit, the green fruit, as I mentioned earlier, buffs your piety, but the red fruit buffs your strength, which is basically what buffs my basic attacks. We're doing a piety build because of the fact that we want to be able to burst bosses really quickly. But regular enemies are a bit more of a struggle because they die too quickly for us to make use of our piety-based attacks, and but they're still like kind of slow. So we want strength for these particular fights, and this quest in particular is a pretty long one, especially solo, because we have a bunch of gauntlets back to back, and this is exactly why we want strength to more quickly deal with them. So because it's a fruit as well, it's going to last for the entirety of the quest. It's really nice. There are actually 7 doors that we need to go through. And we need to basically clear all of the enemies from each of these doors. And what that does for us is it will actually debuff the boss. The boss at the end of this chapter has more health, higher stats, higher level overall. The more that you, or the less gates that you clear. So we're actually making the final boss of this quest a bit easier. It would be practically impossible to do, like at our level, with clearing no gates at all. The main reason we actually need to clear the gates, though, is because it's associated with the flag. We need to clear every gate, beat the boss of the area, and that will actually be the clear condition for the flag, because it triggers a cutscene after we beat the boss. There's a neat little fact mentioning the zoom mechanic earlier. If you zoom in on an item, you can actually see the item's names. It's cheese. There are some items, those little purple mushrooms, they are called light mushrooms typically, and if you pick them up, they will poison you. But they sometimes have the exact same model, but are instead called might mushrooms. So if you zoom in, you can tell whether it's might or blight. And as a result, you can use that to know if you should pick it up or not. Because the might mushrooms will heal you, give you an all stats increase of quite a bit, and heal you of your status effects. It's a small chance to drop, though, instead of a blight mushroom, so it's not very common at all. But it's a neat little feature that utilizes the zoom mechanic of this game. So, for the 5th gate, we have 3 more here, and then the 8th gate's the boss. Alright. While we are making our way through these next couple of gates, nothing too fancy is going on. If there is time, there is time for more donations if there are any.
No donations yet, but you still can. Exclamation donate in the chat for all the details.
Alright. 1 more gate of what they gauntlets in it. Over. So it's the final one. This one's pretty easy. Each of the gates kind of has a theme to it. The middle 5 are actually all the same elements. For example, one of them will be one of them is poison, one of them is water, one of them is thunder, one of them is fire, one of them is wind. The last gate is just one of each of those elements as well. I haven't really talked too much about elements because it does not impact a Shinobi run too much, but there is an elemental cycle going on in these games, or in this game in particular. Alright. Again, this is a Asura enemy, so he's taking a lot less damage from our piety-based attacks. Trying to apply the fire debuff to him. As another benefit of Fire Shinobi is the fire debuff will allow him to take more damage. And we've run out of our red fruit, unfortunately, so I'm gonna just use a green candy. And apparently that's enough. So, that is that for this quest. We get this cutscene. That is the flag. And that should be all 8 flags acquired. So when we go back to the hub town, we should see a little cutscene. Alright. There we go. That is the cutscene. This gives us the second to last quest. We just have to clear this one. Once we have cleared it, it unlocks the final quest for us, and then we can be done with the game. So let's go do it. Soul Vessel. Green candy's going. So this particular quest might actually be the hardest one, because it has Vasith at the end, the boss I was telling you about earlier, but he's upgraded, much stronger, and the quest, you can actually see the quest level at the top, right? This quest is level 25. I'm only level 17, so things will hit hard if I'm not too careful. For example, I believe these swinging axes can sometimes just shot me at my current health, so you can just use the iframes from the well, not one shot, I guess, but they do a fair amount of damage. You can use the iframes from a Shinobi dash to go through them. Same thing with these fires. These fires in particular are really annoying because if you don't, get a lucky roll, they will also apply the fire debuff to you, cause you to take more damage. Just like that. And I got rid of it, but that gave me the poison debuff, which is just as bad. So these gates are kind of annoying. They detect when you're getting close to them, but it's based on horizontal distance. Up again. But if you are above them, it kind of ignores it for a brief period of time. So we can kind of go above it and then dash under it if we're fast enough. So this particular gate is kind of busted. It works on the wrong side. And then again. This enemy's in the way, but luckily not too in the way. Sometimes that happens. Oops, I dashed the wrong way. Get like stuck under the door, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just have to go back. All right, but that is it for this map. And now for the boss. This upgraded Vasith, he will pretty much one-shot me if he hits me with anything big, such as that. We really want him to be doing this elemental attack. Unfortunately, fire isn't really easy to abuse, so you still have to just stay down here for a bit. Luckily, I got iframes from the Dragon Meteor. God. Haven't seen this attack yet, but not too hard to dodge as Shinobi. Yep, just got one shot. Unfortunate. Poison is fine. We want to be able to dash one more time if he ever does anything to us, because he if we can't dash through his attacks, we have no way to dodge them. Ooh, that's really bad. I'm now paralyzed, which means I can't use like anything pretty much. So it's just kind of had to die as a result. But luckily, experience doesn't matter too much. The fight is kind of rough, but it is what it is. It's better that we cleared it. And now we're on to the final quest. So, with that, there's some like story behind it. Basically, it turns out the bad guy all along was the dragon talking to us at the start. So, we're gonna want some healing items to be safe, some extra green candies, because why not? And so this particular quest isn't too difficult. It's just one boss fight, but the boss fight can be challenging. That's why I saved that one green fruit for this particular one, because it's going to be pretty important that we deal with certain things quickly. I have to be really careful though, because if I die, I do lose the stat boost. So we want to hold on to that for as long as possible. So she has a few different attacks that she will do. This one's kind of annoying. I can't damage her in this state, so I just have to bait her to the side until she is out of it. Quick dragon kick usually deals with her plenty fine. Alright, just trying to get a bit of damage in. The main thing we want to defeat is this eyeball right now. Fortunately, we have not done enough damage. I am going to use the Dragon Sphere at least once because this is a very good time for it. I was incredibly lucky that I didn't die there. And I did die. There goes my foot. Ow. Being very aggressive right now. We're going to use this. The reason I'm going to use this is it fully regens my health. It's going to fully regen my dragon points, and they will be infinite temporarily. And I will be immune to status effects, such as the fire debuff. So I want to use this opportunity to try and get one kick in, and that is it for phase 1. There is still a second phase. And I lose the effects of the dragon kick now, for the dragon sphere. So this is Atrium Reborn, and this is the final boss. He has a bunch of different patterns. He's only really vulnerable right now when he goes to a corner like that and his mouth is open. He oftentimes summons those like tentacles like that. These are just missiles that go across the screen you have to dodge. Can go back to the middle, which is really annoying. Can't do that on the Switch version of the game. You can only do this on the PC version. For whatever reason. They, like, fixed his AI on PC. So, because this boss is Asura, he just does not take a whole lot of damage very often. So, I need to generate some dragon points. Unfortunately, he's not giving me a good opportunity to do so. We can generate off these tentacles. Alright. Oh, that was a low roll. I can't really generate anything during this, unfortunately. Oh, I jumped into it. It's just a very, very slow fight when you don't get to use a green fruit. Because it's very difficult, again, to hit with a meteor kick. So I'm going to use this opportunity to generate a lot of dragon points. They just missed it. So those go from top to bottom, or bottom to top first. Ow! I accidentally ran into it. It's going to take an awfully long time because I lost my green fruit. Alright, so this attack means I get to generate some dragon points. Right. Ow. Alright, so I have one life left. If I die one more time, I will have to redo the quest. Out of health. I don't think he's going to be damageable right now. Oh, he is. Shit. Still haven't gotten him to his final form. That was very scary. Alright. We'll use this opportunity to generate some dragon points. There you go. So now he's just gonna, yep, that's unfortunate. He was just gonna fire a bunch of fireballs at me because he got below his quarter health mark. It is what it is. Failing the quest isn't a huge deal. I believe I get my items back. Yeah, so I can reuse the green fruit now, so I can actually try that again. Actually, quick, before I do that, I'm gonna go and get another one, because I think I should have enough at this point. Just gonna go grab another... Oh, where is it? Yeah, we're gonna get 3 of them, because why not? And that way we should have no problems even if we die, because we can get a lot more damage in. All right, marks for death. Place these green candies with green fruits. All right. Well, let's try that again. This time should be a lot smoother, since even if we die, we have backup green fruits. Which lets me just kind of use them pretty much right at the start and not have to worry about it at all. Of course, she starts with this attack almost every time. Alright, a lot of damage in there. Nice. That was a very clean one cycle of the eyeball. We don't get a refill on dragon points, but that's fine because we're going to get to do a lot more damage now that we have the fruit running on Reborn. Ow. Rude. Very awkward trying to generate dragon points in this position. I'm gonna have to dash through to avoid that missile. Got enough though. I don't think I can fit this in, but oh, I just got it. Alright. We have enough that we can do another dragon kick now. And now he's already at the health that he's probably gonna go into his final phase, where he just shoots fireballs at us. Just use another green fruit just to be safe. My lock-on ran out, so I have to wait until his next attack. But out of my way, you dumb dragon sphere! Oh my god. Ow. Fine. Take this nice and slow. Oh my god. This hurts. Okay. Oh, you're shooting a lot of fireballs. Alright. Final one. Promise. There we go. And he's defeated. And that is it. Time will be coming up when I see the quest complete screen right here. Time. That is that for dragon, marks for death. So fun little fact about this game, it actually has technically 4 endings. There's a true ending, which requires beating the game with every character. We actually got the good ending in this particular case, but it only really involves how you use the dragon spheres and whether or not you died. If you don't die at all, you get this ending, which is the good ending. if you die even one time, you will automatically get the neutral ending. But if you die once at least and you use a dragon sphere, you get the bad ending. So trying to just get to the credits so we can have those play. But that pretty much wraps it up for me. That is all for Dragon Mark for Death. I think it's a very good game. Has some wonderful mechanics. Really great co-op game. I highly recommend it. It's also a really fun speedrun to do solo. It's not really a whole big community of people who do it, but I do think it's very fun if you are interested. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. So thank you guys for watching. I don't recall the next run that's coming up. Mario 64. Thank you. That's coming up next, and there will be more of me. I will be showing up later today with some Celeste. So hope to see you all back here, and hope you all can spend some money to help donate to Child's Play. Again, we are trying to raise some money for that, and I don't know exactly what we're at. I think we're over 1,600, obviously. Maybe 1,700 now. No, 1,469. There we go. We're not at 1,500 yet, so getting close. But does the host have anything else to say, or we can sign off?
Thank you so much, Rich, for that awesome play of Dragon Marked for Death. We got, like he said, coming up next, we got Super Mario 64 being run by Papaya Chunks. So definitely take this moment. We will get it all set up, and we will be right back with more.